All right. Hello, Facebook. Welcome. I am so excited to see you. I'm Katie Power, for those of you who don't know me, and I am going to be interviewing the lovely Ms. Garie Jean Williams here, joining me. So we'll be talking with her. She was a participant in my 2021 vocal health case study where she learned how to never lose her voice using my method, Unlimited Vocal Health. So, we're going to talk to her about her experience, her before, her during, her after, and what she's up to now as a result. And I'm so excited to share all this with you because I'm so excited about everything she's been doing lately. So, are you ready? Let's dig in. So, hello, Miss Garie Jean. Thank you for doing
Hi,
this. Thank
thank you for
you.
having me.
Yes. So before we get super deep in here, tell me a little bit about the show that you're in right now.
Okay, so currently I'm in a production of a musical called The Scarlet Pimpernel. It's by Frank Wildhorn, who also wrote Jekyll and Hyde.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not done very often. I don't know why, because it's a
It's
brilliant,
beautiful.
brilliant show. Yes. And actually, you introduced me to that show. I don't know if you remember or
Well,
know
I
how,
was just going
but
to ask you because there's a song in there that I love. It's a duet, and I
yes,
give it to people as a solo.
yes, you gave it to me back in Sarasota years ago. It's called You Are My Home, and you
Yes.
gave it to me as a solo. And I have loved it ever since. I knew it was from the Scarlet Pimpernel, but I didn't really dig more into the actual show. But I love that song. And so when I saw they were doing the Scarlet Pimpernel, I started doing research, seeing, what the show is, listening to the songs, looking at clips. And I just fell in love with the entire show, all the music. There are no like bad songs in that show.
Yeah,
Like it's
I'm
all
sure.
amazing.
I
Um,
love that song. It's so beautiful.
it's so beautiful. Yeah. Um, so when I heard this studio was doing it, they're about an hour and 15 minutes away from me,
Oh,
but
wow.
I had to be in it. I was like, I don't care, I'll be a tree. Like I'll be a tree. I don't care. So I went and auditioned, and yeah, I got a role in the ensemble, and there's only 5 of us girls in the ensemble, so we get to do a lot.
That's
I
awesome.
have myself, I have 8 costume changes and 4 wigs, and I have my own dresser because those costume changes are so quick. All of
Well,
the girls have our own dressers because there's no way. A lot of our costumes are period pieces with corsets and ties and
yeah.
buckles and things. So
Yes, I've
it's just,
seen them. They're intense. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen the ones that you've posted pictures of.
yeah.
Love
We
it.
actually borrowed a lot of costumes from a big costume shop in New York City. So, for instance, one of my ball gowns is labeled, it's from the Metropolitan Opera.
That's awesome. I love
Yes.
that.
So, yeah. So it's a big commitment for me just because of the drive, but it's so worth it. And this show is amazing, and our cast is incredible, and I love it so much.
I love that. That makes me so incredibly happy. So let's go backwards a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about how you got where you are now. And I know you used to perform full time back when we met the first time.
Yeah.
And then you stopped and you switched careers. Can you talk a little bit about your earlier performing?
Yes. So right out of college, I, had a bachelor's in music, specializing in musical theater. So I was like, I want to do this. This is all I want to do. And I did. I performed professionally with some regional theaters, local theaters for many years, actually. And sometimes I was only performing, making money that way. Sometimes had a side job and was performing at night too. Um, and that's when I met you, and you're amazing. um,
Thanks.
and it was a lot of fun and it was great. But what I realize now is that I suffered from a lot of like fear and lack of self-esteem in myself, and
Yeah.
that is what kind of ended that period of my life for me. Like I just
Mhm.
didn't think I was good enough, so why should anyone else? Like, um,
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
yeah, yeah. It was big time fear, like just horrible. So it got to the point where it was just more painful for me to go to auditions and not get a role, and it was just a vicious cycle of like
Yeah.
depressing. Like I wasn't feeling good about myself or my singing or my career. So then I'd go to an audition and project that, and then I wouldn't get the job, and then that goes more, and it was just a cycle. And it was like killing me mentally.
Yeah.
So I literally just one day was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. And when I say done, I mean done. Like I could
Yeah.
not go
Like
to a
you
show.
started working with
I
seals.
I started yes, I started work. Yeah, I went back to school and I got a degree in animal science, and I became a zookeeper trainer, uh, biology specialist. So yeah, I
So
went total
amazing.
different direction because performing and Broadway and shows was just too painful for me. I literally, not only could I not go to a show, I couldn't listen to a soundtrack. Like I would just break down. Um, if I was riding in the car with my mom and she had Phantom of the Opera on or something, I would have to turn it off. Like I just couldn't handle it. And that was for about 9 years. I didn't watch the Tony Awards. I didn't listen or hear about any new shows opening or what was going on or what. Like I cut ties with a lot of my theater friends just because it was just so painful. Um, stopped taking voice and acting, anything. Like I just stopped. Like I just like
Yeah. I remember a few years ago, you started like following me in a very behind the scenes kind of way. And I would reach out every once in a while. And I was always surprised because you talked about that. And I thought, wow, what happened? Because I always thought you were amazing. So that was heartbreaking to me to hear that. So we'll get to how you got where you are, but let's fast forward a little bit to last summer. And you heard that I was doing my case study for voice loss prevention. So,
yeah.
what caused you to want to participate in that?
So I had kind of slowly the year before been like trying out my voice, like, what is it like by myself, like in, no one else is home. Like this is like, and it was just hard and depressing because it's a muscle and I hadn't worked it in 12 years. So,
Yeah.
so I was just kind of lost and like, I kind of want to go audition because where I am in North Carolina, there's a lot of great community theater. And so I thought maybe I could just do it just as a hobby, just as something fun. Like don't not worry about it as a paycheck or a way of living. But again, that fear of auditioning and like, oh God, like I haven't done this in 12 years. My voice is in a completely different place. I have my like big girl woman voice now. And so I started following you and just kind of keeping up and kind of looking at auditions and looking at things and just kind of like timidly. And then I saw that you were offering this course and, to do it for free to kind of give feedback and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I said, I'm gonna be all in and do all the work and show up and be there and do the best I can. But I also gave myself permission to, like, at the end of the course, if I wasn't happy and I didn't want to do it anymore, like that can be it. Like you
That's
don't
good.
have to again. Like kind of gave myself permission to just kind of feel how I'm feeling. And at the end of the course, like if I want to continue, great. If not, then that's okay too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I remember you also said something like you were on the phone a lot or something.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
can we talk about that?
My job at the time, yeah, I was on the phone all day actually, working for FEMA, taking signing people up for their COVID assistance, funeral assistance, which is
Oh God.
just yeah, like gut wrenching anyway. So I was on the phone all day, so I was using my voice a lot, losing it a lot because obviously I wasn't speaking within the correct like place. And so I thought, oh, this can probably work with that too. And then at the same time, when I was trying to try new songs or different pieces that are more belting or more my lower register, the sound just wasn't coming out, or I would get really kind of sore and scratchy and tired. And I just always thought, well, I can't belt or I can't sing down there. Like I'm just a soprano. Like that's all, just a soprano. Like that. And then I took your course and learned that is not true. I was just doing it wrong.
Yep. Yes, definitely. And I remember Well, I had a lot of strict rules about that case study, and I wanted, I wanted as many people as possible, but because I wanted to make sure that we had consistent results all the way through it, I wanted to make sure that everyone that was in it could come to all the classes and was willing to do all the work.
Mhm.
Um, so obviously you were able to do that because you stayed all the way through to the end. um, but how important to you was it to be in all the classes and to do all the work?
Very important because, like I said, I just jumped in. I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this fully, do this. I like to be a responsible person anyway. So if I tell you I'm going to be somewhere, like I want to be there. And it was just great to have that um, consistency of like the same people that we're seeing each week, and being able to see how different people grow or how they have different comments or how, you helping someone else was helping me as well.
Yes.
So that was very important. And I think that's really important,
I love
in,
that.
in
I
classes.
actually was just live on TikTok the hour before this, doing a masterclass. And it was the first time I did one on TikTok. And there was someone in the comments that was like, that was so helpful. You were working with her and it helped me. And I was like,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing about the way this works. Like
Yeah.
that's what I love about group voice. And when you're able to
Yeah.
do a master class, that's how it works. That you
Mhm.
learn just from watching someone else get coached. It's awesome.
It's true. And I was nervous about it being a group because again, like, oh God, I'm not
Yeah,
good enough. I don't want anyone to hear me. But our group was just so supportive and
awesome.
so kind and just really, you made it a really safe space. So I
Thanks.
really appreciate that.
Thanks. That's awesome. The other thing that I remember you saying, um, with lots of enthusiasm that just made I had tears every time I watched this little video. But you said because they had to do a video response to the questions that we sent in addition to written responses. And there's one where Garie, you were just so like, you were so excited and you were like, it just clicked. And you,
Yes.
and then you said that when we had our live like celebration call, you said that as well. Like it just clicked. Can you talk about when things started to shift and change for you, when you started to have those light bulbs? What was going on?
Yes. So I believe the first week was legit, head voice, which is
Well,
my wheelhouse.
classical, yeah.
So it was good review for me.
Hmm.
Um, and then I'm not sure when in the weeks that we did this, but when you were explaining kind of the difference of the legit classical versus mix versus belt versus
Yeah.
chess, um, I was just taking notes like voraciously and just trying to listen to you and watch your body and see what's happening. And so I started in the class, like you have us practice in the class, which I think is great because then we can kind of feel in the body what you're trying to say. And I kind of got it, but then when I went home, but then when I went on, the next day to practice or do it, it was like, oh my God, I feel it. Like I understood it,
Yeah.
but like now I feel it. And the more I practice, the better I can. Now, like I use your warm up. I warm up with you every day. Like you don't know that, but I put all your warm ups on a CD, and in my hour and a half drive to the theater, we warm up together, and it's
I
lovely.
love that.
So now I understand the different voice parts and areas. I know where they are in my body. I know how to switch from one to the other. Like, and it just clicked. It just made sense. And I was like, oh my God, like why have I never no, like why did I not get this 20 years, like
Yeah.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Why have I done this? And it's like, oh my God, my life would have been so much easier if back when I was 22 years old, I would have just gotten this and could have worked with it. And
Yes.
yeah, so it just like clicked. I got it. And now I can do it. And I'm working on, it's perfect, but I work on it. And my mix is getting stronger and my belt is getting higher. And it's not hard. Like it's not hard.
I love that. No, it's not. It's
I
so
just
funny to me
got it.
because It was so similar to my experience. So I think that's probably part of the reason that I got so emotional when I saw you, like, it just clicked. Because I had the same experience. Like for me, when I learned it, I did the same thing. I took a lot of notes and I studied them on the train home. And then I sat down at the piano. Thankfully, no one was home because,
Right?
when you're
Yes.
learning something new, you don't want someone listening to you. I hear that from singers all the time, and I remember that moment for me. And I sat down at the piano, and I think I was there for about 8 hours trying to figure out what I had just learned because it didn't make sense to me and I couldn't do it. And I sat in that class with my arms crossed, like, mm-mm, you're not going to make me do that. I'm a classical singer. Um, so then, from my experimenting and figuring it out at the piano, I realized it's like all of a sudden it was like a light switch. It clicked
Yes.
for me, and I felt like something changed, and I couldn't turn it off anymore because then it was like, okay, now I know the difference. I know how to make all four of these
Yeah.
sounds in my body, just like you're saying. So yeah, that was really
And I
cool.
didn't even know that I didn't know, which is the craziest thing,
Yeah.
like I didn't know that I didn't know. It's hard to explain, but it's like once you get it and feel it in your body and you can do it on
Yes.
command, like it's like,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So what felt different about um like what felt different about it? Like how did you know? Like you're saying that you could click and you could go and all those different places. I don't know if you can describe this in words, but how did you know that it was different than what you had been trying before?
Because it felt different um in my body, and I could actually feel the switches, like where I was switching. Like I could feel like if I'm belting and doing one of your exercises, and then I have to have to switch into mix because it's just getting. I can feel that
Little
change.
stratosphere.
Yes, and now I know. Okay, well I just switched. But also for that, I it made me get it more hearing you work with other people on that, because I could listen and say, okay, she's belting, and then you would be like, oh, you just switched to mix, and I'd be like, wait a minute, what? She just switched? Like, wait, and then I'd hear it again. It's okay, she's belting, she's belting. Oh, she just switched to mix. I'd be like, oh, I heard that she did just switch to mix. I can hear that in her. So that was very helpful because
Yeah.
I can do it in my body, but listening to other people and being like, okay, I can hear, and you described it very well. I don't, I can't describe it well, but hearing it in other people, and then hearing the difference between the mix and the legit, and hearing that, and also finding that in my mouth and body and placement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
So I
you
think
find, as a classical singer, classically trained singer, did you find that it gave you a better reference point for understanding belt and mix, having had that in the background?
yes,
Yeah, me too.
yes, because that was the comfortable place for me. That's where I just automatically go to, is the
Yes.
high classical. So that's kind of like my home. Um, so yeah, it gave me a good reference, and I was glad that you started with that, um, and then moved into the other placements, which are a little more tricky for me.
Yeah,
Um,
it's interesting because, belt and mix are more literally our home because we speak in them every
right,
day, all that.
right,
But for those of us that have had classical training, that becomes our singing home. And if you haven't had classical training, if you're just, a default singer and you're just kind of doing whatever, then it can be really hard I find it can be really hard to find belt and mix because you don't have the opposite of it to
the
compare it
reference.
to. And
Okay.
so
Mhm.
that's why I like to start with classical, because I find that people that have that classical background, it helps them know, oh, okay, don't do that. This is going to
Right,
be different. Whereas
right,
if you've never had that, me saying don't do that, they don't really know what that is or how to know. So it's much easier to identify. And that's because it's more dangerous to do it the wrong way. You want to make sure. So that's why I do that. So I was just curious if that was an experience you had. Because I know for me,
yes,
that's what made the hugest difference for me was knowing because I had classical, knowing that I basically had to do everything opposite
Yes,
in order to
exactly.
do it.
And that's
And
intimidating.
it
That's really
is. It
intimidating.
absolutely is, especially when you've, been trained with the fear that, certain things are bad and wrong and
Mhm.
dangerous. And I
Mhm.
was like,
Yep.
absolutely not. I'm not doing that.
And
Um,
I was shocked. You kept saying this to me, and I just was, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. But I was shocked when you would say, you you think you're singing legit, classical voice, but you're mixing
Mixing.
most of the time. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then now I'm like, yep, I've been mixing for
Yep.
years and just didn't.
That is also a
All
very
right.
common experience I have with classically trained singers. I'm like, actually, you're mixing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So were you, I know the answer to this question, but I know that our audience doesn't, so I'm going to ask it anyway. Were you able to do anything new with your singing that you couldn't do before?
Oh, yes, tons. Yeah, even just finding the difference and going from chest to belt to mix to legit, and being able to do it when I want to, like not just when my voice is like, is amazing. And for me, the belting was the biggest part. And then going from belt to mix, just because that's where I feel like I'm weakest. But yeah, I brought a song to class that I love that I just couldn't sing well because there was belting and mixing and
Yeah.
not all these like high beautiful notes that I'm used to hitting. And yeah, and so now it has just opened up a world to all these belting songs that I just always assume, well, I can't sing that. I don't have the voice for that. I can't sing those. Like I can't belt that. And that's not true. And you showed me that I can, and it's
Yeah.
pretty damn amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful stuff. I
Yeah.
love that.
And actually, in the show I'm in now, the Scarlet Pimpernel, in some of the songs, I'm on alto one part. So,
That's
you know,
wild.
yes, I've never been an alto. What? So like
Oh,
what?
you have such a
Um,
light voice. I would never put you on alto.
I know, but like I said, there's only 5 girls, so it's like, yeah. Um, yeah, so so having accessing the lower part of my voice and being more confident has just been, opened so many doors and just been like, oh my gosh, I can sing that. I can sing that. Listen, I can do it. I can hit those. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. So, and what about voice loss and vocal fatigue? Are those a thing of the past now?
Yes, absolutely. Even during the class, I noticed in my job, I don't have that same job right now, but I noticed in my job at the time that I was, breathing more effectively and not having tired voice and losing my voice at the end of the day. Um, and when I used to try to belt or sing lower, my throat and voice would always kind of get tired and
Yeah.
just kind of scratchy and not good. And I don't have that anymore. And so it's great. Even singing this show, which is a beast of a show, it's amazing. I do our long warm up and I'm like good to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I
Tech
love
week, we
that.
did it. We did it 8 times tech week. We did the show 8 times. So it was like, all right, this is what it's like. And yeah, I was good to go. I don't even really worry about that anymore because
That's
it's,
so good. I love that. I love hearing that so much. That's
yeah.
so valuable. And I will tell you that that is, that is the experience that everyone has. That like all of my clients have that experience as well. They're like, oh, I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
once it clicks, like you said, then you know how to go there, you know how to do it and consistently. And it makes the problem go away for good.
Hmm.
So I love that. Oh, and so getting back to what we talked about earlier, like I had to have a little private moment when I heard you say that you had the courage to go audition again. I was just like, I'm feeling it coming right now.
All because of you.
Yeah, because I was so broken when I heard that a few years ago. And so when you said that in our class, I just like I needed a minute. um so as much as it made me feel like that, I want to know, what was it like for you knowing that you had the tools and the confidence to go out there and try it again? What was that like for you?
So I'm much older now and much wiser, and I have done a lot of inner work and kind of realized like how terrified and down on myself I was back before when I was trying to perform. um, and just how horrible that is and how untrue it is. And so I have, I'm in my 30s, I have more of that like, okay, like I got this, like this is okay. And that's just with me, myself. But then taking your class, it really it made me work my voice every day, which I had not been doing in years. It made me, mess up and make new sounds and learning new ways to use my body and my voice. And okay, my voice sounds different here than it used to 20 years ago. Um, and I just decided I had so much fun in your class with our people. And I just was like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of community theater around here. Like, I could probably do something like this. So, yeah. So I actually, the first show I auditioned for was called Something Rotten, the musical. And I got into the ensemble of that. It was with a new community theater in the area. And I signed up for the audition, and that was terrifying. I didn't tell anyone because, God forbid I don't get this. So,
Well, you told me.
yes, but like, I mean, like family or people, like
Yeah.
yeah. So I just was like, I'm just gonna go and see what happens. And I don't even remember what I sang. I think I just sang something like I could have danced all night. What did I don't even remember what I sang.
I don't
But it was
remember because we
something,
talked about it,
yes.
but I don't remember.
It was something that I knew like I could sing in my sleep, like that I'd sung for just something. I was like, I'm not gonna get a new, force anything new here. And I just went, and I was so scared. And I just did it. And it was actually a really great experience. They, the director, music director, were just really nice, really laid back, very supportive. And I, got a call back. And so went back and did the callback. And it was actually down to me and two other girls for the lead female role B in that show. And so that made me feel amazing.
Yes.
And I kept thinking, fake it till you make it. And I literally, the audition and then the callback, I was just like walking around like, this is what I do every day. I audition all the time. Like, this is just what I do. I just told like, oh yeah, yeah, these are my character shoes. Yeah, they're 12 years old and breaking. But I just, and so I think once I got through that one, it was like, okay, like you can do this and survive. Like this is, I hate auditions. I don't like them. I will never like them. But the end result is worth it. And
I'm just going to say that feels like challenge accepted to me, but I love auditioning.
I hate them. But I had an amazing time in that show. I met amazing people that are still my friends, now. And so that's when that show was over, is when I started looking for more audition, because I was like, that was really fun. I want to do that again. And that's when I auditioned for the Scarlet Pimpernel. So yeah.
I love that. And did it give you, I mean, obviously you had so much fun and you made friends. Did that experience alone boost your confidence as far as going into the next one?
Oh yes, 100%. Yeah. And I just want to say, if I had not done that class with you, that course with you in June, I probably would not have been, I don't know what else would have catapulted me to actually go to an audition. Like I don't, because I had been thinking about it for over a year and not done anything. So your course catapulted me to actually be like, okay, you can do this. Like, let's just try it,
I love that.
So I totally am grateful to you and your course and the people in that class for giving me the I don't know, the confidence to actually audition. So
yeah, and I think getting your desire back,
yeah. Yes.
That's the other piece of it for me that was just so exciting to hear, on your behalf. It's like, wow, she's she's doing it. And I told people, like, I told my whole family, and they were like, great, you know.
Good job. Yeah.
Who's that? I don't know. You don't understand. So,
Yeah, because it's a love, and it's the same thing now. This show is going to end in a week, and I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, I need another one to do.
yeah,
It's just
definitely. Yes.
it's really soul fulfilling for me, and I love to sing and I love to be on stage, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore.
Good. I love that. So, would you say then that all of the work and the commitment was worth it?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, what goals do you have for yourself moving forward?
I just want to kind of keep doing shows kind of more on a consistent basis.
Consistently.
There's
That's
a
the
ton of
goal.
theaters, there's a ton of theaters around here, that I would love to work with. I really want to work on kind of perfecting my audition, because I do feel like that's kind of my weakest
Yeah.
point. I get so nervous, like, and just kind of, yeah, I want to keep learning, keep stretching my voice, keep, practicing, and seeing what other songs I can sing, because now you've opened all these other roles to me that I never even dreamed I could even, think of. So
I love
yes,
that. Speaking of
that's the
which,
goal.
do you have any dream roles? Any roles that are like, one of these days?
Yes, well, it's funny, I have like my like younger girl dream roles, and then my like, okay, now probably more.
Listen, I still want to be Annie.
Okay. I think you would be an amazing Annie.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. 45-year-old Annie.
Yes, I would come see it. Yeah, so Christine Daae in The Phantom of the Opera, always since I was 10 wanted to play that role. Glinda in Wicked, would love that. Maria in West Side Story. And then now I'm more like playing Marguerite in The Scarlet Pimpernel is now definitely one of my dream roles. Like I'm like, oh, I want to do that role. I think that would be amazing.
I will say that is one of my favorite things about being in the theater world is that, if I'm in a show, I get a new dream role that I want, or if I'm just like when I used to tour with my ex, when he wasn't my ex, I would watch all these shows and be like, oh God, I would love to play that role. Or really what happened to me was, I would love to direct this. I used to get that kind of bug also, like I want to direct this show. And
Yeah,
that's what I love, that it expands your dream catalog just from being involved in it. I love that.
Yeah. And I've always loved Frank Wildhorn. And so I've always wanted to do Jekyll and Hyde, but until last year in your class, I always thought, well, I can only play Emma. Like I can only.
Nope.
Now, like, I'm sorry, forget Emma. I want to play Lucy, like, because I can, and it would be amazing. And
you could play either of them. That's what's cool. Right. You could have your own Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You could be both of them.
That's the thing though. Like I could play Emma in my sleep. Like she's a wonderful character. She's amazing. But those are the roles that I'm used to playing. So Lucy is just like a completely different voice part. And, I would love to play her. So that's another dream role.
I love that. So that you just answered the next question I was going to ask you, which have any new songs or roles opened up to you that you never considered before? So any others?
So definitely Lucy and Jekyll and Hyde, Marguerite in The Scarlet Pimpernel, because before this I would have never thought that I could sing that low and belt and just and just I don't know, songs that like the song I brought to class, Stranger to the Rain from Garden of Eden. I love that song, but I just never could deal with the belting and stuff at the end and how to make that pretty and sound good. And so now it's like, oh, I can do that. So now when I look at songs, I just look at them completely differently. And I'm like, I can sing that. Yes. I can that. Like, yes, I can mix that and make it sound like I'm belting that too.
Yes, you can. And that is that's such a thrilling experience, when all
Yes,
of a sudden it's like, I don't have any limitations anymore.
yes,
I love
ex-
that.
yeah,
So, do you have any thoughts? A few questions here. Do you have any thoughts for performers that may be in the position you were in years ago, um, that are feeling that sort of like, I must not be good enough kind of thing, or who are taking time off and coming back to it and battling that same kind of demon? Do you have any thoughts for people like that have been in your situation?
yes. If it makes you happy, do it. Like, if it makes you happy, it makes your soul happy, do it. Sorry. um,
Okay.
I, especially in Something Rotten, the first show I did back, so it was my first show in 11 years. I actually I didn't know anyone in the cast, and actually no one in the cast knew each other, which was great. So we all just kind of came together. And it ends up that there were like 4 of us that had not done shows. Like, some people not since college, some people not in, 10, 12 years, some people not, and like, none of us knew that about each other when we started, because everyone's like, oh yeah, I do this every day. And I'm a pro, But once we started hanging out and getting closer and spending more time together, I said something like, well, this is my first show in 11 years. And, this other guy who had a lead in the show was like, this is my first show in 16 years. And I was like, what? Like, and there were 4 of us that hadn't done shows in over 10 years. And it was kind of amazing to hear that, because just watching him perform and rehearse, I would never have thought that, like, ever. And so if it makes you happy, like, find a way to do it. I don't know. And I think community theater is great because it's less judgmental and it's less stressful, because you're not like, I'm still going to be able to pay rent if I don't get this.
Yes. It allows you to do what you love
Yes.
and pay your bills. Yes.
But yeah, and for myself, like, I did what I needed to do. I needed to maybe it out of my life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that it took so long for me to get back to it, but I'm so grateful that I had you and others saying, hey, maybe you should try that. Maybe you should try that, so that when I was finally ready, I could come back and start and kind of dip my toe in and say, okay,
Yeah.
how does this feel? How am I feeling about this? And, for me, it was like, oh my God, thank God this is back in my life.
Yes. Oh, I feel like I had like phantom pains of that, long distance, like, oh, she's back.
Yeah.
Like, there's just this part of me that was like dying along with you.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Because it's really a part of me and I love it. And I don't want theater to not be in my life anymore. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So people who are just coming back, there's a lot of people who leave it for you. Life happens, whatever, but just come back. And, if you just take it slow and, do one audition and then do another one, or, maybe seek out a voice teacher in your area, or, or call you or find an acting class, just something. And the great thing about it is you'll meet people at the audition, you'll meet people in the acting class, you'll meet people, through you, that can help you network, or say, hey, you should take this class, or hey, you should study with her, and this audition's coming up, and are you gonna be there? Oh,
Oh my gosh. That was really weird. Because of your background, we lost you completely. It was like you fell. That was cool.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you for that. I think that's a really good word. I think that's really important. Yeah, there are people that it's hard to make it back into it. I sort of went through that myself. I didn't take as long of a gap, but I took a few years, and then when I got to Florida, I was like, I don't think I'm done doing this yet.
yeah.
And I went back into it, and I learned very quickly. I was like, this is just a way for me to connect with people that want to sing. That's really where my heartbeat is. I don't really want to be doing this. I want to be coaching them. So
There you go. Yeah.
so I was like, I need to step away again, because this is not where my heart is. I am meeting people that I can coach, and that's really
Yes.
what I'm looking at this as. So I stepped away again. But yeah, I didn't think I was done yet. And I love it, but I would much rather be doing this.
Which is great because
Yeah.
I would not. So we need people like you.
Yes. Yeah. So, what about in the vocal health department? So, if you knew somebody, or if there's somebody out there that's watching this story and hearing about your experience, what would you say to them about the vocal health bit? Do you think that it is salvageable? Do you think that it is something that is preventable, that you can go on and have whatever, is it worth doing the work to get a voice that does what you want?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, if singing makes you happy, then yeah, you need to do the work to get it back to where it's healthy and it's there and you can count on it. And absolutely. I in our case study there was a lady who had been having voice problems, and just over the 6 weeks, I think it was 6 weeks.
Yeah, I
just
think it
over
was 6 weeks,
weeks,
5 or 6.
I could hear the difference in her voice and the strength and how it was growing.
There were a
And
couple.
yeah, yeah. And it's
Hmm.
just incredible to see. And that's just in 6 weeks with,
Yeah.
a group class. So imagine, studying with this master here and learning all those things. Yeah. And just not having to worry about losing my voice or doing something wrong that's going to cause trauma to my voice is amazing, because like I know I'm doing it correctly. I know, it's not going to cause damage or trauma. And that's awesome, because back when I was doing it, I was definitely doing things that were causing trauma and not helping my voice.
Yeah.
Just unknowingly. So it's definitely worth it. And especially, if you love to sing and you're singing a lot, then absolutely need to
Yeah.
know this stuff and work on vocal health.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. And so those that are in your area, and I never remember which town in North Carolina you're in. Are you Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah, Raleigh's theater rich.
it
So
is.
those of you that are watching this that are in Raleigh or near Raleigh, where and when can they go to see you perform in this show?
Okay, so I am in Raleigh, but the theater is in Burlington, North Carolina.
Okay.
It is called Studio One, and it's www.studio1online.org. And we have 3 more performances. So we have Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday matinee. Tickets are reasonable. They're $17. We've got, amazing. It's a thrust theater. So we have seating on 3 sides, which is also new for me, also terrifying. It's a small little theater and it's amazing. And our cast, the leads, have just done amazing things. And, our director kept saying, I have a cast full of leads. Like I have a cast full of leads. So Studio
awesome.
One, studio1online.org, and it's in Burlington, North Carolina. And it's amazing theater, amazing organizations. They teach classes, have workshops, all kinds of things. So
Awesome. Awesome.
come see it.
We will put that link in the comments. Is it one like the number or one spelled out?
Sorry, one the number.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Studio1.org. Awesome.
Studio1online.org.
Sorry, studio1online.org.
Yes.
I will actually get the correct information from you so that I don't put the wrong thing down there. Awesome. Garie Jean, thank you so very much for doing this with me. I know that there are people out there that are listening to this that are having major aha moments and
I hope so.
feeling some hope. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and break a leg this weekend and in your future auditions. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.